Good day, everyone. We are from Group 6, composed of Ramos Angel Grace Wednesday O, Ramos Christine C, Ramos Daniel John N, Ramos Mariel Miles R, and Ramos Pauline Joy T from 1NU09, and we are here to present our case study report. For the table of contents, first is the name of the infection, disease, or syndrome. Second is the case definition. Third, clinical and public health history. Fourth, differentials. Fifth, diagnosis, tool or procedure. Sixth, gold standard diagnosis. Seventh, risk factor. Eighth, gold standard diagnosis or drug of choice. Ninth is the statistics of the Philippines. 10th is the level of intervention applicable.
So good day, my name is Dr. Ramos and I'll be your doctor for the day. Can you please state the symptoms that you are currently experiencing?
So, good day po. So, I just returned from Brazil po and I have a mild fever po and also had a headache, joint pain, and a rash from my face and spread throughout my body po. And also, I have a red eyes po right now.
So while staying in Brazil, nagkaroon ka ba ng mosquito bites?
Yes po, despite using repellents.
So given your symptoms, we need to test for dengue fever, chikungunya, rubella, and measles. So I will also order for a blood test. For the meanwhile, stay hydrated and rest. For the fever naman and joint pain, I will prescribe you with medication.
Thank you po, doctor.
So you're welcome. So I'll follow up once we have the test result and make sure to contact us if the symptoms worsen.
For the patient profile, for the age 29 years old, gender female, occupation teacher, location recently traveled to an area with known outbreak in Lopburi, Thailand. For the case presentation, in day 1, the patient returns from a 2-week vacation in Brazil. She experienced mild fever, headache, and joint pain. She attributes these symptoms to travel fatigue. Day 2, she develops a rash that spreads from her face to the rest of her body. Along with conjunctivitis, concerned, she visits her primary care physician. The patient reports recent travel to Brazil, where the virus is endemic. She mentions mosquito bites during her stay. She is sexually active and has used mosquito repellents intermittently. She was tested for the following: dengue fever, chikungunya, rubella, measles, and allergic reactions.
Okay, for the name of the infection or disease, our group named this chikungunya. So for the case definition, chikungunya is a virus that is transmitted to humans through mosquito bites, specifically those from the Aedes aegypti and Aedes albopictus mosquitoes. Chikungunya infection occurs when an individual is bitten by a mosquito that carries the virus. The virus is not transmitted from one individual to another through bodily contact or secretions, although blood transmission may be feasible. Individuals who are traveling to countries with active chikungunya transmission should exercise extreme caution in order to prevent mosquito stings. It is crucial to refrain from acquiring additional mosquito stings for approximately 1 week after contracting the virus. According to Professor 2024, this is because an uninfected mosquito could bite you and contract the virus, thereby exacerbating the virus transmission. For the signs and symptoms, rash from face to the rest of the body, mild fever, muscle pain, joint swelling, headache, and conjunctivitis. For clinical and public health history of the infection, chikungunya outbreaks have become more frequent and extensive since 2004, which is partially due to viral adaptations that facilitate the virus transmission by Aedes albopictus mosquitoes. Chikungunya has been detected in more than 110 countries across Asia, Africa, Europe, and the Americas. Brazil is the most populous and largest country in Latin America with a significant chikungunya susceptible population, a suitable climate, and abundant Aegypti vector populations. Early cases of chikungunya were primarily observed on the northeast of Brazil, where it has been circulating locally since 2004. According to Nunez, 2015, Brazil has been the epicenter of the chikungunya epidemics in the Americas since 2016, with the greatest reported number of cases in the region, 1,659,167 in 2016. Brazil has been witnessing annual chikungunya epidemics in contrast to other countries and territories in the Americas.
Let us now proceed to the differential diagnosis. Under viral infections, we have dengue fever, West Nile fever, adenovirus infection, onyong fever, onyong-nyong fever, Ross River fever, Sinbis fever, Crimean Congo fever, Busukwara fever, Mayaro fever, Ebola fever, hantavirus infection, Casanor forest disease, Lassa fever, rubella, parvovirus B19 infection, hepatitis B, mumps, infection with herpes virus. Next, for the parasitic infections, we have only one, which is falciparum-malaria infection. And on the other hand, as for the bacterial infections, we have leptospirosis, rickettsial infections, gonococcemia, post-infectious reactive arthritis, and group A streptococcal infection.
So moving on to the various diagnostic tools and procedures used to identify infection, specifically the chikungunya virus disease. So this includes the reverse transcriptase polymerase chain reaction, or RT-PCR. So this method detects the presence of viral RNA in a patient's blood, and it is highly sensitive and specific, making it useful in the early stage of infection. Next is the plaque reduction neutralization test, or PRNT. So this measures the ability of antibodies to neutralize the virus and is highly specific. Next is the IgM and the IgG antibody test. So these serological tests detect antibodies produced in response to chikungunya infection. Next is the enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay, or ELISA. So this is used to detect the IgM and IgG antibodies against the chikungunya virus. Next is the chikungunya virus isolation. So this involves culturing the virus from a patient's blood sample, which can then be analyzed. Next is the nucleic acid testing, or NAT. So this is used to detect viral genetic material and is similar to RT-PCR in terms of sensitivity and specificity. And lastly is the chikungunya rapid test. So this test provides quick results and is useful in resource-limited setting for preliminary screening. So next is the imaging techniques used in the diagnosis of the chikungunya virus disease. So we have first is the magnetic resonance imaging, or MRI, and it is used to visualize soft tissue and joint inflammation, providing detailed images of the affected areas. Second is the joint ultrasound. So this technique helps in assessing joint effusions and synovial inflammation, which are common in chikungunya patients. And lastly is the X-rays, which are used to rule out other conditions that may present with similar symptoms such as fractures or osteoarthritis. And for the immunogenic testing, we have plaque reduction neutralization test, or PRNT, IgM and IgG antibody test, and enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay. Moving on to the clinical impression. So a clinical diagnosis of chikungunya is typically made by identifying symptoms such as acute fever and polyarthralgia. It is also important to consider the patient's recent travel history, especially to regions where the chikungunya virus is endemic. And for the gold standard diagnosis, so according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the plaque reduction neutralization test is considered as the gold standard for chikungunya diagnosis.
Following that, we have the risk factors associated with the infection. We have several. First, let us discuss environmental factors. This involves the presence of Aedes mosquitoes, as well as the climate and water storage practices. Next, for the individual factors, under this are the age, gender, and pre-existing conditions and the immune status of the people. As for the socioeconomic factors, we have the education level, the housing conditions, and the occupation. For the behavioral factors, we have the use of protective measures and travel history. For the genetic factors, we have host. And lastly, for the community level factors, under that are population density and public health infrastructure.
Moving on, the gold standard treatment, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, in dengue and chikungunya endemic areas such as Africa, the Americas, Asia, Europe, and islands in the Indian and Pacific Oceans, acetaminophen medication is the preferred first-line treatment for fever and joint pain in chikungunya infections. So patients take this medication as standard until dengue is ruled out. Now, let's take a look at the statistics of chikungunya infections in the Philippines. So, according to the Department of Health, reported chikungunya infections in the Philippines have increased from 71 last year to 383 new cases in March 2024. All of the 383 reported cases came from Mimaropa and Mindanao, indicating the rising prevalence and incidence rates of the viral disease today. Fortunately, the data from the Department of Health's Epidemiology Bureau revealed that there were no deaths recorded from chikungunya infections this 2024, just like the previous year. However, according to the World Health Organization, chikungunya infections can still inflict morbidity despite self-limiting. Oftentimes, the infection leads to abrupt fever but also severe joint pain that may last from days, weeks, and even months.
For the level of intervention applicable, first primordial intervention, policies to limit mosquito populations must be developed and implemented, such as the eradication of breeding areas, efficient waste management, and improved watering methods. Second, for primary prevention, clean environment and proper hygiene are one of the measures that prevent onset of chikungunya. For example, regularly cleaning and covering water containers, disposing of old tires, and other water collecting items, and using insecticides will limit mosquito population. In addition, encouraging people to apply insect repellents on a regular basis, to wear long-sleeve clothing, and to use mosquito nets, especially in places where mosquitoes are prevalent. For the secondary prevention, train healthcare providers in the identification of symptoms and execution of relevant diagnostic tests for rapid diagnosis, to encourage the establishment of surveillance systems, to monitor and report cases of chikungunya in time to ensure timely public health responses in support of containment strategies. For the tertiary prevention, provide chikungunya patient with support therapy using pain medicines and anti-inflammatory medicines, abundant water, and much-needed rest to decrease the impact of disease. Moreover, follow-up consultation should be scheduled and rendered to monitor improvement, manage persistent symptoms, and prevent complication of the patient. In conclusion, this case highlights the significant impact of chikungunya on patients' quality of life and prolonged nature of recovery, particularly concerning pain. Early recognition and symptomatic management are crucial in providing relief and preventing complication. This case underscores the need of increased awareness and preventive measure in endemic regions to mitigate the disease burden. Further research into effective treatments and vaccines remains essential to combat chikungunya more effectively. This is our references for the case report. That is all for our presentation. Thank you for listening.